Welcome back. So, you know how the Stanley Cup's awarded halfway through the second period, or the Super Bowl is won in the second quarter, or the World Series ends in the fifth inning, and then we just sit around for the rest of it? Yeah, The Flash kind of did that. I've watched some bad finales, and it's true. I think back to Supernatural, season five. Chuck, who was God. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it, then fine. But he says endings are hard. Telling a story is one thing, but endings are difficult. And I thought the ending of season five of Supernatural was perfect. That's where Eric Kripke steps out, and then the show went right off the rails in season six. It should have ended at five. Now, there's definitely something to be said about Flash maybe being on for too long, right? 9 seasons is a lot. And it definitely had its ups and its downs along the way. But this episode, the way it was constructed, I they build this up as this big deal, and then nothing. Just finger poke of doom, man. This was the Flash's version of the finger poke of doom. That they build this up over 3 episodes, like it's going to be this big final. This is going to happen. And okay, all right. Let me go through my notes. Go through my notes. The original opening line was brought back, which is kind of nice. That Flash. That's me, and I'm the Flash. Blah blah blah. I'm going to say this: they never should have done away with that. That should have been the opening for every episode of Flash from season one through to season nine. I think that sometimes some of the changes that happen with the show, including the opening, I don't think that they necessarily benefited the show. So then we go to the team talking about temporal fractures, the timelines falling apart. We never really saw any consequences of that. None. There was nothing. We never went back to what was going on in 2049. Nothing. Just Barry's running back to the present. Didn't wasn't Barry not able to run between timelines? Anyways, so the villains are brought back saying villain stuff. I'm going to kill the Flash. I'm going to kill the Flash. Maybe I'll kill you. Well, why are you're evil. You're evil. Hey, we should hang out. Anyways, that's basically what it was, and they're in the negative Speed Force because sure, why not? So you have Zoom, Godspeed, or Speed God. I think Speed God sounds better, so Speed God. Although Speed God might be a good name for a speed metal band, right? Right? Right. All right, it probably is the name of a speed metal band. I was never a fan of speed metal. Just throwing that out there. Eobard's there. Savitar's there. Eddie. The, there was absolutely no point to having any of them here. None. There's there's absolutely no point to bringing any of them back. None. They brought back all of these villains from the previous seasons, and I thought, well, maybe there'll be something fun they do. So my first thought was Voltron. Are they going to make a Voltron thing? And it's coming from Evil Dead, where you get like the Voltron of the demons. But no, just a new suit for Eddie. So the negative speed force gave Eddie a suit, which conveniently has the crystal right on the front of it, because you got to have the crystal right on the front of it. It's in the comics. We're a stupid entertainment guy. But I don't care if it's in the comics. It can still look silly in practical effects, right? Something I always say, I'll say this is kind of dumb, and somebody will always say, well, that's in the comics. It doesn't mean it works as a practical effect. It doesn't mean that it looks right in real life, comparatively speaking, with the comics. Plus, not all comics are fantastic. I know, terrible, right? So Iris is in labor. She's only been in labor for 6 months. It feels like it. It's been 2 episodes of her being in labor. And at no point do I actually believe that Candace Patton is in labor. None. There's there's no point during any of this where I'm like, well, clearly. And I have to say, the last few episodes, Iris, very, very little Iris in these episodes. I'm starting to think Grant Gustin and Candace Patton both got together at the start of season 9 and said, I don't know that we want to do very much this year. I kind of feel like we've checked out and we're done. So, at any rate, Eddie gives some exposition to Barry and Iris. There was entirely too much talking by villains in this episode, which makes it ridiculous. And then Iris says, "Run, Barry, run," because you have to do the callback, do the line, say the line, say it, say it. So then we have a CGI battle, and then Nora shows up. She runs back across time. Apparently, there was some signal or something. I don't know. It was just an excuse to get the actress that plays Nora, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with their daughter coming back in time to protect the timeline. All right, fine. I think she's a good actress. I look forward to seeing what else she does in the future. But yeah, so Nora's there. Eddie has a Legion. He calls it a Legion. Normally, I turn off the air conditioner, but for this, I'm going to leave it as it is. I don't know how long this video is going to go. This room could get really warm, so I'm going to let her go. And then there's more talking, and then you get into CGI fighting. And then Nora was stabbed by Savitar, but she does that thing where they phase, so she can phase through the blade, so the blade doesn't actually stab her. And then she stabs Savitar in the back, and he's dead. So Savitar is Barry Allen. She stabbed her own father. And she says, Shui. Shui. Cool. That's what you say when you stab another alternate version of your own father in the back. Shui. So Savitar's done. And then Cecile beats up all of the Godspeed copies. Like, she just annihilates them. Like, Cecile now is overpowered. Everybody's overpowered now. That's it. Everybody is a mega superhero. It's not just the Flash and all of his gang of heroes and team. It is everybody's a mega superhero now. And so she defeats Godspeed. Cecile freaking Horton defeats Godspeed. I love Cecile as a character, and I think the actress, I think it's Danielle Monet, plays her. Absolutely. I think she's a really good actress. Tremendous. She defeats Godspeed like that. And so I thought, okay, this is too easy. This, you can't. You can't have an episode start with all these villains coming through portals and getting ready for a fight, and then just have them all get defeated. You can't. You can't do that. That's not going to work. So Eobard shows up at Star Labs. So Thawne. He zaps Chester. Chester, who never showed any sign ever in this entire series that he was anything but a regular, normal human being. So Allegra zaps Eobard. I don't know why she didn't hit Thawne before he tried to murder Chester, but maybe she wanted to see how much Chester cares, you know? But either way, she zaps Eobard and he flies, because now apparently Reverse Flash is nowhere near as tough to defeat as he used to be. So she checks on Chuck, and Chuck is playing dead, because sure. Then you have Zoom against CCPD, Keone, and Mark. I don't know, what did Mark do? And then there were lightsabers in the Flash versus Eddie fight. Oh yeah, they brought back the lightsabers. The stupidest thing I've ever seen on Flash is lightsabers. Sorry, they're not really lightsabers. They're basically bolts of lightning that are like yay long, that they hold like this, that flash like lightning and glow, and they fence with them. They're not lightsabers at all. So Keone, Zoom's really stupid. So Zoom's shooting at Keone, and Keone just puts her hand up and is absorbing the energy. Now, if I'm Zoom, I'm going to stop firing. I'm going to think, you know what? She's soaking up this energy. I might want to stop. No, Zoom's a moron. So he keeps doing it, and she shoots Zoom's energy back at him. And he's defeated. That's it. That's it. Ta-da! So Allegra blows up. So basically, Thawne is like, I blew up your boyfriend, and now I'm going to destroy you, and then I'm going to kill Flash. And he just won't shut up. Like, just do it. Just, Thawne, why do all of these villains, here's what I'm going to do now. As long as I don't keep talking, I might get it done. I don't understand. Like, it feels like the villains in this show got more and more cartoonish every year. And in this episode, they just took it to the next level. Like, they should be out there, like, just, murking people. And instead, they're like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Don't you dare shoot me. I'm trying to explain my plan. That was really rude. She totally killed me while I was explaining my plan. I picture them all showing up in the negative speed force, and all of them with the same. That they shot me while I was explaining my plan. Well, she shot my own energy back at me, and I think that's just rude. Anyways, great. We want that scene now, don't we? We want that, and we didn't get it. That would have been a heck of a lot better than some of the scenes they put in there later. So, Allegra blows up and basically kills Thawne. And I mean, she, like, energy just explodes out of her, and that energy wave hits Thawne, and he's dead. Why did Thawne come back? Right. Anyways, so yeah. So Chuck's alive, because why not? He only absorbed the same amount of energy as the sun. So, as would be given out by the sun. The sun doesn't really, well, the sun would absorb, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So we go back to the lightsaber fight at Jitters, and then the old guy version of Flash, so the actor that played Barry's dad, who's Flash from another dimension, shows up and just takes Eddie's speed. I'm just gonna take that, thanks. So Eddie Thawne loses his speed, and he's like, oh, what do I do now? So he figures it out. He absorbs the speed from all of the other fallen guys. So Zoom, Godspeed, Thawne. I guess they just keep that Savitar. I guess that speed's just there even when they're dead. Because why not? Maybe they weren't dead. Maybe they all got up and just walked away. Because, I mean, that's possible, right? It doesn't matter. So he absorbs all their energy, and then he disappears. He's gone back into the negative speed force, where apparently he'll keep absorbing energy until he blows up. Right, sure, yeah, okay, that might as well happen. So, they need to let Eddie destroy himself, is what older version of Flash says. But Flash says he wants to save Eddie, and Keone's like, I can get you into the negative speed force. Hi, I'm just a viewer. How the hell can Keone just put people into the negative speed force? She is the human version of the I don't understand. I don't get it. I had it here. Here it is. Here it is. So this is a sonic screwdriver. This is what won me my wife, that I have a sonic screwdriver. I had this in my dating profile picture on the dating site we met on. And this is the magical tool they took away from the 12th Doctor, because they felt like it was making it too easy for him to get out of really bad situations. That he could just take the sonic screwdriver and just like that, and then that would fix it. Oh, this is locked. Ta-da, it's open. Oh no, they're gonna shoot us. Now their weapons are neutralized. Like it just became a fix everything. Keone is the human version of this. Absolutely. So yeah, so she can put him in there. Keone also starts talking like Yoda, saying violence isn't the answer and believe in the impossible. All that was missing was like 80s inspirational music, preferably sung by Michael Bolton. I wouldn't have minded if Michael Bolton had started singing and just walked onto the screen. That might as well have happened. So Barry goes to Eddie, tries to change his mind, and refuses to fight. You guys know how this works. I won't fight you, father. You know, turn or else your sister will turn. Ah! It's very Return of the Jedi. So he refuses to fight. And then because Barry's decided I don't want to fight, Eddie's able to fight off the negative speed force, because that might as well happen. Well, he stays as the Avatar, but he decides not to fight with Barry. So he takes the crystal off and throws it down, and the crystal blows up, and the negative speed force is angry. And then he says, tell Iris I'm happy for her, and basically says we're not going to see eye to eye all the time, but the fight is over. And I'm like, okay, what? Like, this whole episode I was like, what? What? So yeah, that happens. We're at 18 minutes left. There's 18 minutes left in the episode. All the villains are done. That's it. That's it. In 20 minutes, we went from the entire timeline could be dying to everything's resolved. That's it. That's it. 18 minutes left. You could turn this show off, and you don't miss anything, because now it goes full Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, which you can leave a half an hour before that movie's done. You don't really miss anything. But you didn't see what happens in that they go across the sea, and he goes with the elves, and who cares? Anyways, so we're back into Iris being in labor and Barry's there. The timeline's fixed. Just, hey guys, timeline's fixed. Cool. Okay, sure. Why not? Sure, yeah. Chuck's okay. He's fine. Here's how Chuck was saying. Chuck Chuck bonded with like black hole energy, and that black hole energy saved him when he got zapped by the electricity from Eobard Thawne. Which, I mean, yeah, if you don't think about it, sure. Since when? Like, hasn't Chuck got knocked out before? Anyways, so now he has black hole powers. He's like, am I a superhero now? Yeah, you might as well be, Chuck. Sure. Chester P. Runk is now, he's a superhero too, because you're a superhero and you're a superhero, and we'll open it up. So Nora's born with 1342 left. So I kept checking the time left on Netflix. And I'm like, okay, so why is this show still going? Much like I felt during Return of the King when I saw it in the theater. So Joe gets to hold the baby, which is nice because Joe's there. I really miss Cisco. There was an article on how Cisco didn't come back for the finale, and he had trouble with his schedule working out. He just couldn't make it. I think they should have done everything possible to get Cisco into the finale. I think if you had Cisco in the finale running things at Star Labs, whatever, to take Chuck and Allegra out for the episode, something happens to them at the start of the episode, have Cisco come back and say, you know, the timeline's in danger. I know it's in danger. I'm here to help save the world. And you could have Cisco help to save the world, and it would have been great. I think it would have worked. And I think you take this whole fight and all these villains, you want to bring them all back, great, and you draw it out. Oh, and you have them fight Flash. None of them fight Flash. None of them. They're like, I want to get Flash. Can you imagine how humiliating that would be? Yeah, went back down to Earth and I went down to kill Flash. What happened? The DA killed me. Cecile, you know, the DA. You got murdered by the DA? What about you? Yeah, I went down to kill Flash, and this woman who's like half plant killed me. She absorbed my energy and shot it back at me. Didn't you see her absorbing your energy? Yeah, but I thought if I just kept giving her more energy, that maybe that'd work. Well, what about you? Yeah, I went down to kill Flash. Fought with my own daughter. She stabbed me in the back. Well, technically, you stabbed her in the back because you were chasing her. No, she actually stabbed me in the back. I tried to stab her through the chest, and she phased through it. She phased through. How did that happen? What about you? I don't know. I knocked down Chester, and then I wouldn't shut up, so Allegra murdered me. Anyway, again, don't we want to see that scene? Of course we do. We want that scene. All these villains getting together like, yeah, I was alive again. Lasted about 3 minutes. Starting to think we deserved what we got. Anyways, so let's see. They have a Barry Iris montage because why not? Going back to when the show was better. Keown's leaving, so there's Harrison Wells there to take her away. He comes in like Obi-Wan's Force Ghost. Lord of the Rings vibes, and she says nothing ever dies. That's really Last Jedi kind of stuff right there. She fire tornadoes her way out. So I actually laughed at this. She exits the room and there's like this spinning tornado and there's flames coming out of it. She didn't tell anybody. Now listen, when I leave, you guys are going to want to back up a little bit. She totally could have burned him and murdered him. But at any rate, she tornadoes out and left in her place is Caitlin. It's Caitlin again. And we know because it's Caitlin's clothes that she was wearing when she became Keown. So I guess sure. So Caitlin's back. Anyways. So and then we do 1 week later, and I was like, why are we doing 1 week later? We're done now, right? It's a baby party. Barry apologizes to Caitlin because he blew up her apartment where she was doing all this research to try to bring back Frost, and she's like, don't worry about it. I realize now I made a mistake. Dying told you that, huh? So Nora holds a baby version of herself, which, if you've seen Time Cop, you know that's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. That's where I wanted Jean-Claude Van Damme to come in and go, no, 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 you put her down. That's dangerous. Don't do it. Nah, he didn't show up. Joe gives a toast and he proposes to his wife, and they talk a lot about their daughter Jenna, who isn't there. It's a baby shower. There's no reason Jenna couldn't have been at a baby shower. None. And if it's, well, she's probably in school. Well, then what are Joe and who's like, he talks about how she's like the greatest mother that could ever be for Jenna. We don't see her kid. Like, there's just, and during the timeline when everything's all falling apart, she doesn't go and get Jenna. Like, anyways, Barry starts then telling the baby version of Nora a story. She's a week old, so she's not going to remember. And then he shares his powers with three other people. And again, it feels like there's probably some kind of comic book tie-in as to the names of the three people at the end. Clearly very distinct that they use those three people. But it's done. It needs to be done. And really, it should have been over when the battle with Eddie was finished. Have the battle with Eddie, have the baby born, and then just say, we're going to go into the future together, something like that, and just be done with it. You know, draw out the fights. Why do you bring back all of these villains just to have them just die immediately? Immediately. So this is a, 42-minute episode. 24 minutes into the episode, everybody's dead. Other than Eddie, who decides I'm out of here. So let's see, you got 5 villains, 20, so like what, if villain dies every 4 minutes? It's not great. Not great. And it really is, it really is another example to me of the writers deciding, okay, we're going to do a bunch of fan service, we're going to bring back a lot of fan favorites, we don't have anything to do with them. There's no characters. Like when they came in and they're all like, I'm going to murder Flash. I'm going to murder Flash. I'm going to murder Flash. And it's like, okay, I understand that they're villains, but there should be something else here. Like, you could have had a storyline where Eobard Thawne, who's Reverse Flash, looks at the whole situation that's going on and says, you know what? I kind of want to go into business for myself. I kind of want out of here. And then have him have a fight with Eddie. That's how I would have wrote it. I would have wrote it that Eobard Thawne decides, I'm gonna do my own thing. And maybe Zoom says, you know what? I've got a second chance at life. I don't know if I want to do this. And so then you could have the negative Speed Force actually arguing with its own minions and trying to get them to work together. And then they're talked into working together, and all of them work together to try to destroy Flash, who then has to call upon his team when he's just at death's door. And they work jointly together to fight off all the villains. But why do that? You can just separate the villains and have them die ridiculously at the hands of one member of Team Flash each. Which, again, to me just makes it feel like they've taken Team Flash and overpowered everybody for the final episode. And, anyways, if you can't tell, I'm glad it's over. I'm very glad it's over. I'm glad it's done. This was a tough one. You'll also notice there's a lot less notes. This is the finale. This is the last episode. This board should be full, and there's not really much to say. The villains came back and they died. The end. Everybody lived happily ever after. The end. Done. So, anyways, there you go. All done with Flash. It is finished. It is done. I can be done with it now, and. You know, I will say this, though. I do hope that Grant Gustin does get to play Flash again someday. Ezra Miller is highly problematic. I haven't talked about the Flash movie on here. I'm not seeing that in the theater. I know people have said how great it is. No, Michael Keaton. Ezra Miller is highly problematic. I am not going to go and see a movie where I know that my patronage of said movie might put some money in the pockets of Ezra Miller. Can't do it, won't do it. Reasons I'm not getting into in this, but if you follow the news, you'll know why I would say Ezra Miller's problematic. And it kind of feels like the studio made the movie, and then he did a lot of stupid crap, and they'd put too much money into the movie, so they're, just releasing trailer stuff. I've noticed that there's a lot of Michael Keaton in the trailers, and that's for an obvious reason. Fans want to see Michael Keaton as Batman. But I have some issues with Ezra Miller, and so I have no interest. I think a Grant Gustin Flash movie would be good, as long as you have the right writers. And there's so much that could have been done right here. Like, for instance, the Flash movie, everybody's gushing, and yet what I've seen, it's Flashpoint. It's Flashpoint. Flashpoint's a great story, which they wasted on this show. I think it was season 2 they did Flashpoint, season 2 or season 3. And once you came out of Flashpoint, it just felt like Flashpoint was where it peaked. And even that, there were some issues I had with that. My problem with that was that Barry and Iris were happy, and then he decided to go back in time and save his mother. It's like, wait a minute. Everybody's lived happily ever after, Barry. Everything's fine, and now you're going back in time to change things. You're an idiot. But it was still a lot better than this. Let me know your thoughts. If you watched this episode, let me know what you thought. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.